So my name is Adhwa. I'm actually covering for my Deputy Director, Ms. Asno, who couldn't make it today. So today I'll be talking about, on her behalf, the opportunities in export via cross-border e-commerce. All right. So this is roughly my outline. So I'll start with about MATRADE, our current initiatives, a brief overview of the e-commerce landscape in Malaysia, how to leverage on online platforms, and suggestions in response to global challenges. So first and foremost about MATRADE. Okay, so our vision is to position Malaysia as a globally competitive trading nation, and our mission is to promote Malaysia enterprises to the world. We have 6 core functions: exporters development, export promotion, market intelligence, financial assistance, export trainings, and trade advisory. As for our global networks or our offices, we have 40 trade offices worldwide, all over the world, and we have also 14 marketing offices. Within Malaysia, we have 5 regional offices on top of our HQ in KL. So within Malaysia, we have 1 office in the north in Penang, 1 in the east coast in Kota Terengganu. In the south, we have 1 in JB, and 1 in Kuching, and 1 in Kota Kinabalu. Okay, so for those of you that have not registered as a MATRADE member yet, please do so. Membership registration is free. There's no charges whatsoever. And the step is fairly simple. Just go to our website, matrade.gov.my, and go to for Malaysian exporters. And then you select online application and click register as MATRADE member. The process is not complicated at all. It's fairly straightforward, and I do hope for those that have not registered yet, please do be our members soon. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about our current initiatives to assist SMEs. Okay, so our assistance in regards to assisting SMEs on coping with the COVID-19 situations. So within this year, from the 1st of January up until 30th of November 2020, through our exporters development programs, we have here there's for summary of what we did within that exporters development. So for eTrade, where I am in, we have assisted 774 companies to get on board international e-commerce platforms. Those companies came from the F&B industries, pharmaceuticals, personal care, lifestyle products, and so on. But this program, the eTrade program, has been closed since for the 1st of July 2020, since we have exceeded our budget. For our market development grant, MDG, they have assisted 1,320 companies up until November, with 22.25 million ringgit disbursed in form of grants. And for our My Export services, we have 675 market alert, 132 product market study, and 2,600 plus trade leads. Okay, and for our training programs, this year we mostly did it via webinars. So our exporters training unit have organized or participated in 145 webinars with more than 7,000 plus viewers. For export promotion, usually export promotion is where we help or bring Malaysian companies overseas to join trade fairs or international events. But of course, due to COVID, we only managed to do 12 programs this year, where we only managed to assist 535 companies assisted and generated 1.54 billion export sales. But to combat the restriction, MATRADE came up with the e-BizMatch program, where we conducted online business meeting. So between Malaysian exporters, Malaysian companies with international or foreign buyers. So up until November, we have conducted 940 business meetings. 1.08 billion export sales has been recorded from products or services within the category of building materials, green tech and energy products, F&B, and as well as agro-food. Okay. So a bit of highlight on our market development grant, MDG, possibly our most famous grant. Effective of 1st July 2020, also in response to the COVID-19 situation, they have included participation in virtual international trade fairs held in Malaysia and overseas as part of the claimable expenses through the program. Okay, so if you join a virtual international trade fair, you can claim for MDG. If it's a local organized virtual trade fair, it's maximum 5K. If it's overseas, it's maximum of 25K. And also they have also included the reimbursement of costs of logistics, which is a temporary relief, which allows reimbursement of up to 30% of logistic costs subject to a max of 15K per shipment. That covers warehousing, cost of transportation, and freight. But the coverage for reimbursement of cost of logistics is, like mentioned, that is temporary. So it will only last until the 31st of December 2020. So far, we have not yet, we are unable to confirm whether or not this will continue, especially looking at the COVID situation right now, where it shows no sign of subsiding yet. Okay, so for more info on MDG, you can either go to our website, matrade.gov.my, or you can contact MDG unit at mdg@matrade.gov.my. Okay, so on the e-commerce side of things, so an overhead look at the e-commerce ecosystem in Malaysia. So we can see that in terms of our demographics, we have 28.7 million, or 87.4% internet users in Malaysia. So it's pretty decent internet penetration. And as for the digital economy contribution to GDP, digital economy contributed 18.5% to GDP, value at 267.7 billion in 2018, whereas part of that, e-commerce contributed 8% to GDP, value at 115.5 billion in 2018. So the governing council, or the governing body for e-commerce in Malaysia, the main one is the National E-commerce Council, chaired by MITI, and consists of 21 other ministries and government agencies. Okay, such as, of course, MOT, MCMC, Cabinet SHP, MIMOS, NASA, and so on. All right. So this is a Malaysia e-commerce landscape infographics, just a brief overview of what's available in Malaysia. Okay, so leveraging on online platforms for business growth and sustainability. Okay, so if you can see there, the growth of global cross-border B2C e-commerce transaction value. If you look at the graph there, so if you, for example, if you look at North America, so there's a 3% growth for 2014 to 2020 in terms of cross-border e-commerce. A much larger growth in Western Europe, from 18% to 32%. And I think the largest will be somewhere in either Asia Pacific or Western Europe, as I mentioned earlier. So as you can see, all over the world, the trend is e-commerce transaction value is on the rise. So be it local B2C e-commerce or cross-border B2C e-commerce. Okay. So if you look at the emerging trends down there, they expected there will be USD 1 trillion spent on cross-border e-commerce for the year 2020. Consumer behavior is changing. They expect everything on demand. They want it anytime, any place, and to buy anywhere, and they want it as soon as possible. And then you can see almost 2 times cross-border e-commerce growth with twice the rate of domestic e-commerce growth. Okay, so this report is from the HL in 2017. Okay, so the benefits of exporting via e-commerce in comparison to exporting traditionally. So you can reach potential new global audience, those that you might not be able to reach traditionally, because usually, if you look at exporting traditionally, usually people will go to international trade fairs with specific countries that they desire. But when you're online, you'll never know where your customers are going to come from. Okay, you can, of course, you can sell products all over the world. You will be open 24/7, so time zones or time difference will not matter much. You can get inquiries anytime of the day, 24/7. You can do data cracking and data gathering, and this will help you to also to profile consumers' buying habit and help you greatly in coming up with a very effective digital marketing plan. It can help to eliminate middlemen, reducing costs, and of course, it can improve efficiency with digitalized business process. So just a bit of call to action from our part. So we'd like you guys to go online and to go e-commerce, to embrace business digitalization, big data and AI, and as well as invest in digital marketing. We think all of these action items are very important for businesses going forward in the future. So just to be a remark over here, going online will take a bit of time and effort, but it's a decision you will never regret making. Opening your brand up to wider audience, increase your sales, and in turns your venture into the success you wanted it to be when you get started. But it will take some time. So next one is the importance of digital marketing. So now it has become very important to grab customers' attention as they get distracted very, very easily. We have very short attention span these days, and this is where digital marketing comes to play, and where it helps e-commerce businesses to go through such challenges. Okay, so those are the objectives that a digital marketing plan strive to achieve. Okay, by using digital marketing, e-commerce creates huge revenue as it helps to acquire customers and brand value. Customers are no more dependent on just content or word of mouth before buying product. Now they even read reviews about product on the platform on which product is listed. Sometimes they not only read reviews, they also see how many times people have bought from you, what's your efficiency in responding to inquiries, and so on. So they have a lot more information before they even started to decide whether to buy from you or not. Okay. All right. So on the eTrade program, as I mentioned earlier, the eTrade program is a program under RMK 11 where we help Malaysian SMEs to cover part of the cost to get listed on international e-commerce platforms. So, but the program itself was closed on the 1st of July 2020, as I mentioned earlier, because we have exceeded our target and our budget. So through the eTrade program, some companies managed to become first-time exporters. So these companies, they never exported before, but by joining the eTrade program and by joining the e-commerce platform that they chose, they managed to export and continue to export even now. And some of them, for those that are already exporting through these e-commerce platforms, they managed to penetrate new markets and get buyers from countries they never really targeted before, they never really expected from, but still, through e-commerce, anything is possible. So the 5 main product categories of companies that apply for the eTrade program are F&B, pharmaceutical, furniture, apparels, and building materials construction. So if you can see here, this one pretty much aligned with the graphs that they showed earlier, where there's the top 10 Malaysian industry where inquiries are coming from. So it pretty much reflects the same thing. So the companies that join the eTrade market have managed to penetrate more than 40 markets all over the world. For example, Bhutan, Armenia, Panama, US, China, ASEAN countries, Papua New Guinea, and etc. Okay, so these are some of the eTrade success stories. I'm just going to go through this real fast. So these companies joined eTrade program sometime in 2017, and they managed to get export sales and successful export ventures after joining the program. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit also about the Malaysia Week. So Malaysia Week is a collaboration between Alibaba Group and the Malaysian government, which involves MATRADE and MDEC. So this is part of the commitment in strengthening the EWTP agenda. So for this year, from the 9th to 18th of September 2020, they did a Malaysia Week, but this one This time it is more online focused compared to the one in 2019, 2020, where we can go physically to China and promote our products over there. Okay. So for this year, these are some of the platforms that join or take part in Malaysia Week 2020. So we can see there's Taobao, Tmall, Tmall Global, and so on. So there's multiple sales channel that target different consumer segments. So some of the achievement for this year, there's more than 95% GMV growth for Malaysia Week compared to 2019. Some of the sales highlight 2,000 Musangking durians were snatched up in just 15 minutes. 30,000 boxes of durian snow skin mooncakes sold, including 20,000 inventory in just 1 second. 140,000 packs of cookies sold out in a second. 360,000 packs of mint candy sold out in 5 minutes. 120,000 grams of dried bird's nest in 5 minutes, as well as 160,000 bottles of bird nest, exceeding 3.35 million ringgit Malaysia in sales on the first day of Malaysia Week for the company PT Swift. So these are some of the examples of the online promotion that they did during Malaysia Week 2020. So this one is on Tmall. Okay. And this one is on Kaula. And then these are some of the other promotions run on various Alibaba platforms. So you have some Tmall, Kaula, Fliggy, Juice One, and Taobao Live. And these are the promotions that have been run by Alibaba on their official Weibo and Facebook accounts. Okay. Okay. So on to, I think this will be my last part. Suggestions on possible response to global challenges. So in this time, we would like to suggest companies to fully utilize the support and offers by governments or private organizations. So do ask any government agencies that you are familiar with, or if you're not, you can always ask them to redirect you to the relevant agencies on what we are offering to the SMEs. Do your research and then do attend online events. As you can see, there are a lot of webinars going on right now. And then, but don't rely too much on third-party info or unverified info. Some of this can mislead you and might cause you some trouble. We also like to suggest you to pursue certification, copyright, patent, trademark, brand. This is especially important if you want to go for export and you want to go to other markets. Trademarking or patenting your product and your brand is very, very important in order to avoid legal troubles. You need to maintain continuous communication with your current buyers, of course, in addition to getting new buyers. You need to launch a customer retention program. Keep the buyers to you and don't give them any incentives to change suppliers or something. Consider moving your businesses if you have not into digital platforms by using of cloud-based services, e-commerce, etc. And of course, if you're already online, you need to intensify your online promotion even more so than you're doing right now. Okay. And that's it for me. Thank you. So if you have any inquiries, you can reach me at adhwa@matrade.my. If you have any inquiries on MATRADE itself, feel free to go to our website. And you can also follow us on social media as per below. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adhwa. So we hope that after Mr. Adhwa presentation, attendees can have a clear idea on what MATRADE is actually as part of the government agency that helps local SME especially on the export department. So it brings us to two questions, which is related to MATRADE. So the first question is that from anonymous attendees, so I have zero knowledge and experience on export. May I know MATRADE can guide me on this, and how will MATRADE do? Mr. Adhwa?
Okay, sure. So for the first question, if you have no prior experience in exporting, so the first, there are usually before this, there's two things you can do. One is you can go online. You can go to our website. We have a guide for beginner exporters over there. It's a ebook, if I'm not mistaken, still as an ebook. But that one is very, how is it? It's very general information. So before this, we will advise for companies that would like to know more. Do come to MATRADE. You can go to our Exporters Advisory Unit on the second floor, as well as our Trade Information Center, our library, also at the second floor. But due to the restrictions currently, it might be hard for you guys to even actually come here. I mean, we're in KL, still red zone. But so the next best thing you can do is actually to be a MATRADE member, where if you are a MATRADE member, whenever we do webinars or trainings, online classes, we let our members know, and then you can feel free to join the seminars or classes anytime you want. Yeah, of course, it's always free if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So for the second question, may I know what are the documents that needed to prepare for export? Okay. So the documents for export differs from country to country. Usually, usually you will need the basic certifications that you will need in Malaysia. For example, if you are a food producer, you will need HACCP, certification from MOH, and any other certification that state that your food or your product is safe to be consumed, etc. But some countries will need extra documents, extra certifications. So this one you will need to either one clarify with your with your importer if you already have a buyer in mind. Two, if you don't know and you just would like to know, let's say for example, what are the documents you need in order to export to um, Thailand, for example, you can always contact our MATRADE overseas offices. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 40 offices overseas globally. Their email addresses are on our website. So feel free to drop them an email, tell them who you are, what company you're from, what product are you selling, and then they can advise you accordingly. Okay, so I hope I answered those two questions good enough.
Okay. So, additional question to Mr. Adwa. Yeah.
Sure.
So, to become a MATRADE member, it is free, right? On
Yes, correct.
registration. Yeah. So, for those who wish to export or explore this overseas market, so if you have a good plan or products on your mind, yeah. So feel free to join MATRADE to get the latest information and updates from their site. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you. Please do.
thank you, Mr. Adwa.